So on with the spooky show. Two mediums, or is it two media? They'll soon be materializing to help us delve into the forbidden. But now, two men who've been scaring the liver and lights out of readers and cinema goers for ages. One goes in for titles like The Book of Blood, and the other, Haunted, or The Rats. I'll personally be surprised not to find the pair of them decomposing before our very eyes. Clive Barker and James Herbert. I'm worried about that girl. She looks as if she's a terrible case of indigestion.
They said she was going to be a Vestal Virgin.
Vestal Virgins, they dress in white.
I think so, yeah.
Clive said, virgin only, ridiculous.
Right. Exactly, but yes.
Sorry.
Almost wearing a frock she was, I'm pleased to say. Yeah, and this is a family show. Right. And particularly a family show with you two fellas on Halloween. I hope the children are wrapped up warm. Well, what sort of gruesome things have you both written about over the years? Awful.
But I can't read his stuff. It's too bad. It's too
You're
gruesome.
You're just saying that.
Yeah.
We do. We write some pretty hairy stuff. But it doesn't just appeal to people like us. It's kids as well, particularly kids.
Yeah, kids love to be scared, don't they?
Yeah, and also a lot of women readers. There's I guess there were some figures I saw in America recently. About 60% of all horror novels are bought by women, which I think is strange because when I first started, I guess I thought that the readers of this kind of stuff were young male adolescents. A lot of middle-aged ladies are out there reading this kind of stuff, Jim's stuff, my stuff, and having a good time with it.
That's right.
Where do these ideas come from? Because it seems to me they're nightmarish.
Yeah.
They're the ultimate nightmare. You take the very idea is sending you off into...
Well, what we do, our nightmares, we don't have nightmares when we go to sleep. Our nightmares are in the daytime. We put them down on paper. And that gets rid of these feelings for us. It's all there for us in the daytime.
Yeah, also kids are doing it all the time. When you're a kid, you're playing in the play yard, you're playing monsters all the time. I mean, I did.
Well, we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're pushing it. You're pushing it beyond the bounds that most people would want to take it.
But it's still safe, right? It's like going
safe,
on a ghost train ride.
And in fact, they want us to do that for them. They want us to take it as far as we can go and drag them a little bit along the way. They can retreat, and we retreat as well before we go to the ultimate. And I don't know yet what the ultimate is.
Do you retreat? I don't think so. I think you go to the limits. I've never censored myself. The thing I've always said is, everything I put in my books, I'll never say, no, Clive, you shouldn't say that. No, you forbid. I don't think you forbid yourself anything.
No, I don't. I'm trying to be mild-mannered and family showish.
Never mind, it's Halloween. Everybody wants to get frightened out of their wits tonight. But describe your stories. I mean, I know they're different, but do they have a central theme? I mean, your ultimate aim is to frighten the living daylights out of everybody.
That's part of it. That's we entertain. We want to frighten people. We're like the roller coaster, the Big Dipper. We have our various themes, and it's usually good against evil. Sometimes we twist it and have evil against evil. But usually, I think with Clive's and certainly with mine, there is some kind of moral tone there.
Yeah, but also there's this whole thing about monsters. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a monster. I still do want to be a monster.
It worked.
Yeah, thanks. Boy. Yeah, come on with this guy, all he does is insult. The whole thing about monsters is they do all kinds of things I want to do. I mean, they fly, they live forever, they're sexually irresistible. I mean, what's bad about this? I mean, tell me what's bad about this.
But they kill, they chop.
Yeah, but what's bad about it? I mean,
what's bad about it is you get a stake through your heart.
At the end.
Only if they catch you.
Somebody does that to you.
I've warned him of this. I've warned him.
Do you get people coming up to you going like that a lot?
I get
we do that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We get strange people who come up to us and we virtually...
Do you ever frighten yourselves?
Clive frightens me, and I hope I frighten him.
No, you're only being nice. Does he really? Does he his writings?
Yeah, and I think this is why I was saying before, I think he does push. I certainly push. I think the whole point is to say the things, the forbidden things, the taboo things.
I was going to say, that's it. You push the nightmare to the end. Most people wake up before a nightmare gets really bad.
But a safe nightmare is the best kind of nightmare, right? The kind of nightmare in which you can say, okay, I can read this book and any time I can put it down. It's like saying, I will live this experience and have the chills, but finally, I'm still at home.
Yeah,
I'm still reading the book.
The worst nightmare is the one you don't wake up from. And I hope it never happens with one of our books, that somebody is so influenced by it, the nightmare continues. Okay, for one night, that's fine, but if it continues into weeks or a day or
That's it,
months,
that could happen. I mean, the book is probably the most powerful, reading's the most powerful thing for your imagination. The idea can stay
It's
in
so
your
much
head.
more therapeutic to actually have it said, isn't it?
It's a relief. And we've found that the people that it would affect, they don't read books anyway. They'll watch video nasties. But
They'll watch
the
Rambo.
brain can't get round words.
Yeah.
You know?
So, how do you scare people then? I mean,
You think of the very simple things. It's always the very simple things.
have they be based in reality?
Yeah, my favourite ghost stories are in the daytime. It's a bright, sunny day and something happens. It doesn't have to be a thunderstorm or mist. It's got to be real for me and very mundane even. And you take the audience, the reader, along with you, and then you invite them to take a mental leap into the horror.
See, I don't mind the thunderstorms once in a while.
Yeah.
I'll do the thunderstorm routine. I'll do anything as long as it works. I have no shame. Whatever it takes, I'll do. And I think what's important only is that you give the reader something they haven't seen before. One of the things about the routine we just saw, which is terribly entertaining, is it's kind of kitsch and camp now. You couldn't do that. We wouldn't do that in one of our stories, or one of our books, or
We
movie.
could have danced with Gary.
Oh, it would have been great. No, we would have been great. The backing singers, we could have had an extra 2 backing singers. We'd have been great at that. But
The trick for us is to find the different things to do each time, because how far can you go? How much has been done before? I've done a lot before, and Clive has now. How far can you find something new?
So you're
something
always
different?
looking for another boundary, aren't you?
Yes,
We are.
pushing the parameters.
I've got to
It's
say
always-
that it comes to us. We never. Well, I don't seek. It just seems to.
Does
be
it spill
implanted.
over into your real life, into your own life?
Of course it does. We live in graveyards, and we.
Oh, now you're just saying that.
My children call it Igor and Mongo. Yes, it's.
He's lying.
I'm not so sure.
What happens? I mean, if I'm in the study working all day, I'm James Herbert. The moment I put the pen down and leave the study and lock the door, I revert to Jim Herbert.
I thought you could say I turned into Dracula.
It's like Superman and Clark Kent. I suddenly become a wimp.
I don't do that. I'm
He's
doing
Clive
it all
Barker
the
all the
time.
time. He's James Herbert
This
all
is
the time.
I'm James Herbert all the time. You can be Clive Barker. Okay. I don't see that distinction. My imagination is working overtime all the time, and all I'm doing when I'm sitting in front of the desk writing is I'm putting that stuff on the page. But it's working all the time. I don't see the
Do
distinction.
you live in a macabre environment?
I did a photo session this afternoon and with an American photographer, and she came around and she said, "What have you got? What about the props?" And I said, "Props? Have I got props?" Out came the skulls, out came the bones, of course. I mean, I love that stuff. It's part of the tools of the trade. It's like being a chemist, you're going to have some chemicals around, right?
The same photographer actually took me out 2 days ago, but she took me to a graveyard.
Yeah, right.
Your own living room, I've got to go to a graveyard.
Well, my living room looks like a graveyard.
I heard this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you have bad dreams?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had bad dreams. I had one last night, one the night before. But I used them, you see. The last book I did, Haunted, came from a dream. And it wasn't a nightmare. It was just a bad dream about ghosts. I woke up, and in that sort of transient stage between sleeping and waking, the story continued. So it was useful for me. I wish I had more bad dreams.
You don't have them at all? But,
No, they're all on the page.
The Weave World.
Weave
thing,
World.
That's
That's
more
a fantasy, but it's got dark. I mean, it's suitable for Halloween in the sense that it's got a lot of dark material in it. I can't ever get through an entire story without something weird going on. Weave World is a big fantasy novel, but the whole thing finally is about the imagination. What we're both writing about is stuff that isn't going to happen. That's the whole point. We're entering a world in which the dreams and the nightmares interweave all the time. Now, I find that fascinating because I think I'm healthier for that. And I meet my fans as Jim meets his, and I think on the whole, they are, with the few that you have to do that to, the most part, they are very well-mannered, articulate, healthy, well-balanced people.
Yeah, because we're releasing their regressions as well as our own.
You're really performing the function of psychiatrists,
I think so,
perhaps.
yes, I think so.
Psychiatrists.
We're cheap analysts, is what we are.
I thought for an awful moment you were doing it for the money.
Terry, no way.
Yes, silly, I'm sorry.
No.
Yes,
Such cynicism,
I'm
such
sorry.
cynicism.
Yeah. Look, do you believe in ghosts?
I do. Clive doesn't.
I don't know. No, I think it's. I think when we're dead, we've got better things to be doing with our time than hanging around the living. I think we're off. I think a new adventure begins. You know, in Peter Pan it says death will be an awfully big adventure. I think we're off on something new.
But it depends what you mean by ghost. Now, I don't see that sort of thing as being ghosts. I don't believe you hang around haunting people. But there is something that goes on. You become a spirit, or you float around the ether. I think there's something happening.
I agree
We
with
just
that.
don't know what. You know.
Have you ever come across it? Makes you think.
Yeah, quite a few times things have happened, and I mean, a lot of people say I'm psychic. A lot of psychics say I'm psychic, and I am, because I can tell you in the next question you're going to ask me. Why do you write horror, Jim?
Wrong.
And on the phone, is psychic.
Clive Barker and James Herbert, they're going to stay with you. Okay. So I'm going to ask the two chaps to hang on to the pendulum as we delve further into the pit. So adjust your auras while you're at it. This is the eve of All Saints, an evening when the spirits of the dead visit the earth. Several of them are in the audience tonight. So it can't be more fitting a night to welcome two ladies who claim to be in touch with the spirits. Are there any here tonight in this old music hall theatre? And the ghost of George Roby, maybe, who trod these very boards, or Barry Grayson. Maybe your granny. Oh no, she's sitting with you. Let's meet Carmen Rogers and Marion Dampier-Jeans. Ladies, welcome. Now you're both media. You've never met before.
No, we haven't, as a matter of fact. No.
So, tell me how both or either of you get in touch with the other side.
Well, we just stand up on a platform and we get the communicator, the person who has died, who will give us information, and we shall pass it on to the person who it belongs to. That's it.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just
Piece of
all right.
cake.
Absolutely.
In effect, yes.
Get
You were
away.
saying that ghosts only, the spirits of the dead only come on Halloween. They are here at all
All the
times.
time.
Are they here?
Yes.
Yes.
How do you know?
Oh, we can sense them around.
Well, I tried to read a couple of the gravestones over there,
Yes.
but I couldn't. I wonder where you got them from.
Well, those are not real gravestones.
Oh, I see.
Yes, you like that.
The magic of television. Yeah. Cardboard gravestones.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, so I hope that hasn't put you off. But many people say it's nonsense.
Well, everyone who dies will pass into this world of spirit. Everyone, without exception.
You seem very certain that we won't just decompose.
The body's decomposed, but the spirit lives on. And that is the part that we communicate with, and we're able to get the information that they were living at such and such a time, their names perhaps, and it gives great comfort to those who are in an audience or where we may be speaking to them privately, and gives them the sense, the knowledge that they will also live after they die.
Yeah.
And it's a great, not only a comfort, but it's a wonderful thing to know this.
Do you believe in this?
No.
I
Sorry.
do, but I'm not sure it's quite the way you say it is. I don't think we actually know too much about this. We can make guesses, and I'm sure you're in your own mind. You're very certain of what you
Not
do.
my own mind, it's in actual fact.
Yeah, come to some of our churches.
It's a fact
and
for
see.
you, and maybe some of the people that you deal with.
Yeah.
I'm not sure a couple of old cynics like us it would.
Less of the old years.
Well, it wouldn't make any difference. You'll still pass into the world of spirits,
Spirits,
whether you're
all
a
right.
cynic or not.
Let's assume that we go on. I don't argue that we go on. Why do we hang around? That's the bit I don't
We
understand.
don't hang around.
Well, do certain people hang around and others not?
Some can, yes, if
Like
you're
waiting for a
earthbound.
bus, or
Oh, you can if you're fed up walking. You
Yeah.
just hang for a bus. No,
and are they like bad guys? Are they like?
Good and bad.
that's
guys.
good and bad.
Yes.
But why do we call them back?
We
If
don't
should be
know.
going
We
back-
don't-
We never
No.
have called them back ever.
Well, don't
No.
people come to you and say, "Listen, I want to
No,
talk to Graham"?
no. Every time we do a sitting or we do a church work, it's completely it is an experimentation. We do not know what's going to come through. We do not know what to say. We don't know who's in the congregation. We don't know anything.
But
so
are you saying then that the spirits or whatever
They communicate.
chooses whoever they see in the
Yes.
audience?
That's right.
we
But are they
choose themselves.
relatives?
They can be
Or
relatives or friends.
The
anything.
big question about all of this: why did the things that they reveal or not reveal,
Are
the
often
way I
very
look at
trivial.
it, why are they trivial? Why is it, we want to know about the meaning of life. We want to know about.
Do they know about the meaning of
I
life up
use,
there?
I use the
the
analogy
meaning of death.
of,
Wait.
for instance, if Einstein returned, all right, now, if he gave me the thing for the relativity, I wouldn't understand what he was talking about. But if he happened to be my uncle, and he took me somewhere that was, I remembered so much, and one loved it, and he reminded me of that, the fact that we went to this such and such place. Now, that may be trivial to you, but it wouldn't be trivial to me,
Can I ask why so many mediums are women?
because it's the more sensitive area.
Well, we're
Women
kind of
are more
sensitive, you know?
sensitive.
You don't believe in it.
No, seriously though, aren't most mediums women?
It is a feminine
It is
principle.
yes,
Yeah?
but we have got loads of men. I mean,
Yes.
we have got loads.
I have a lot.
You see, we have got hundreds of mediums.
You've got lots of men.
Oh,
There are a
yes.
lot
That's
of
why
male
you do it.
mediums. There are a lot of male mediums.
You see, there's an awful lot of charlatans in the game, I have to say.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, in the papers you will find mediums saying, "Dear Charlie, I've been in touch with Vera, and she says not to worry, she's fine on the other side."
Right.
Now,
That is
nobody
not
can
as it should be.
possibly believe that.
No.
Now, but take it, what you're actually doing is you're following on the religious belief that the soul lives on after the body dies.
Correct.
Now, if the soul lives on, and some of these people come back and talk to you, why have they never told you of the beatific vision? Why has nobody mentioned, why do we never see God mentioned? The one thing we want to hear is, have they seen God?
I think
Have they seen heaven? What's it like?
Heaven is what you make it.
Ah, yeah, but what's God like?
Well, God is an energy, is a mind,
But that's
creative
not much.
mind.
If I have to say, that's not much of a beatific vision. We're being told by all religions that when we die, we go to heaven, we will be rewarded by a vision of God. Why haven't they come back and told you about that?
Because they haven't reached that point where they have reached God.
So they
So where
are
are
still
they?
around.
So
They're
that's
in
the
purgatory.
stage.
They're not
So you're not
purgatory.
hanging around here.
No, they're not hanging around. They
No.
have
But
things
they haven't
to do.
gone on. They haven't
They
gone on
do
to heaven
progress. Heaven
They do.
is on several levels.
Who told you that?
yet. I like this.
We've
with
had
some
this
levels.
community. Well,
We've had the
in the,
Like a high rise.
it could well be. We're on the lowest level.
The
if you
heavenly
like.
high rise.
Let's
Why
not bring
not?
Prince
Wow.
Charles into it, please.
Why not?
Do you know how they progress? What they do to actually get on?
One
to this
becomes
higher
aware,
floor?
just in the same way as we learn and experience things here, and we become aware that this is right, this is the way to be, the way to go, and we then become aware that this is a truth. Just as any religion will say, you have to become aware of that truth
But then
and
why,
that knowledge.
why don't they tell you that? Why
They
don't-
do.
They
They
do.
do
They
tell
tell you the
us
way
that's-
what to do.
They don't, no
No.
one can tell you what to do. You have
I
to,
mean, you have to
learn
live your own-
yourself.
Absolutely.
And
Does
they
this mean
don't-
you're not scared of death at all?
No.
No.
But does this mean that,
sounds okay.
you're only meeting, or the only people coming back are people who are in the mid-stage, haven't reached nirvana?
Well, I mean, it is more difficult for someone who's gone that direction to be able to get close to this rather low place.
But why do only, as you said, why do only a few of them come back? Wouldn't you think everybody want to get
Thousands,
back
yes,
and get in
thousands.
touch with the loved ones they've left behind?
They do. That's
All of
thousands.
them?
That's, loads.
Not all of them, because
No.
there's some people who wouldn't accept the fact that they're communicating anyway, and they would think they were from the devil. This is the problem we have.
Do you have to
Yes.
want it to communicate?
No.
No, not
It can just
necessarily.
happen.
It can
And
happen. I mean, you
At
would...
this moment, this place could be well filled with spirit personalities who would love to communicate
Communicate.
with people out there.
Can you sense any of them?
At the moment, I'm arguing.
Well, pause for a moment, and I mean, let's not make it a cheap jack thing, but pause for a moment and think. Can you sense anything?
Well, the one thing I was aware of was a man who was linking in here, and I think perhaps his daughter may well be here, and I kept hearing the name Maggie, and as though somebody here may well have the name of Maggie or Margaret, and that there would be someone here would like to be able to communicate. But
Margaret Thatcher's in?
not Maggie, not that Maggie.
Is there a Margaret?
The name of the Brown, it's an ordinary name. Would somebody be out there who would have the surname Brown? I know it's an ordinary name.
Brown? Don't be afraid to stand up.
Yeah, or put your hand up or something.
Brown?
Yeah, is there someone there?
Somebody just
Over there.
pointed up there called Brown. Was there?
Yes, my name is Green.
No, I know. You see, this is the thing. The first thing, I mean, all right, because it's an ordinary name, suddenly it becomes very trivial. But I mean, people do have the surname Brown.
Yeah.
But there's this man has not been in spirit very long, but it's as though he either had hoped that his daughter would be here, that he'd have the opportunity to communicate the fact. And I've got the month of March connected with him, possibly with his passing. Now, all right, so nobody will answer up, but that's not unusual with people who are
We're not going to let you
sceptical.
out until you answer.
I think that you will find out if you pass in North London, because I suddenly get a very strong connection with North London.
You're working as a tandem
You're
now.
both getting
You're
the
working
same-
together.
Yes, we're not suddenly
We
getting
can
it
both
together.
do it.
We can both do that.
Yes.
The
We're
ethereal
different
Morecambe
medium.
wives.
Of course.
Yes,
What's wrong with that?
right.
You must get a lot of cynical people.
Of course.
Does it put you off?
Not at all.
No, not really. We're used to this, so we get over it.
I mean, the whole thing is that spirit lives on. They communicate. They want you to know that they are still caring, loving, and close to you if you need their support. They're not there all the time.
Do they ever come back if you don't want them there?
Oh, yes.
There are some who do.
Oh,
I mean,
yes,
people do
yes.
get haunted, really.
There's many embarrassing
Yes.
situations, I can tell you, when you actually are working and you suddenly get told details, and particularly me, because I happen not to be English neither. I happen to be Danish, and my English is terrible, and
But that makes a difference, does it?
very much indeed, because I happen to come out and say exactly what I hear, where perhaps Carmen will sort of wrap it in a little. I don't. I just come out with it. I mean, has anybody heard about patient being a virgin? Well, it is with me. It wasn't a virtue, it was a virgin. But there's many times where you suddenly have
Suffers
a
in
lot...
translation,
Yes,
yes.
right.
I'm afraid on this night of ghosts and goodies and all the rest, we have to leave it there. But I want to thank you all. It's been very nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Colin. Thank you.